Hey yo, what is up, everyone? Welcome to the TJAY TV podcast, only on Spotify and Google. How are you doing today? Welcome into a good, fun, good show that we're going to be having in just a few moments. So I'm going to be interviewing a woman named Brittany DeHart, and she's a model and a sync singer, and we're just going to talk to her for about 30 minutes or so. So that should be a fun episode. She's going to be coming on in just a few moments, and if you are new, make sure you smash the like on Spotify, Google Podcast, A3 Media on YouTube, and we have a lot of things coming your way in the next couple of weeks. So I will say this: Santa Claus is actually coming on the show in about, I think, like 2 or 3. I think it's 2 days. Yeah, he's coming on the show in 2 days, so we're going to be talking to him, which is going to be a fun episode. I can't wait for that. And then we have another interview coming out. I want to say sometime next week, and yeah, we only have like 3 more weeks left until the end of the year, which is yeah, it's coming up quick. Honestly, I can't wait. And I think I announced this in yesterday's episode that the last 3 episodes are going to be strictly audio. I mean, maybe not on YouTube. It's just probably going to be video, but the last 3 episodes will be audio, and it should be a fun episode. I think the last 3 episodes being audio on Spotify is appropriate because I can't really play songs on YouTube, unfortunately, but I can definitely play the songs on Spotify, which would be pretty fun. So that should be awesome. And yeah, should be a good 3 weeks. I mean, always the end of the year, the during the end of the year it's a little hectic, but it is what it is. All right, so she's entering the room right now, and we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back. So stay tuned. All right, I am here with Bay Music Official. You're a model and a sync singer. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, thank you. How are you?
Doing great, thank you. So what got you into modeling and sync singing? Like, how did that all come about?
So modeling came first for me. So growing up, I always looked a little bit different. Obviously, I have like the red hair. Everyone usually has like the brown or the blonde. And my eyes are two different colors. So I got bullied a lot, actually.
Mm,
So as I got older, my mom was the one who suggested it. She said, "Why don't we do professional portraits for your graduation photos so I would feel like prettier about myself?" I was a younger girl at the time. So that really got me into it. After I did my first set of photo shoot pictures for my graduation ceremony, I just kind of stuck with it. And I started posting in a lot of these modeling pages to network in. And it just started taking like wildfire. They all loved it because they don't really get to see it like that a lot. So from there, I signed my first management deal at 17, and I stayed with them for about 3 years. With them, I did a couple of shows, fashion shows. I did hair shows for Philadelphia. Until currently, I've gotten invited back out to Fashion Week. I decided not to go to the fashion festival this year just because a lot has now been going on with the music. So I kind of pick and choose and try to like do my best to navigate through my schedule. But the modeling kind of built my confidence I needed. And then the sad part of it was throughout this, I found my first relationship. I met him at work, my first real job that I had. And at first, stuff was good. And then about a year in, he started to get physical with me.
mm,
He started to put his hands on me. I didn't tell my family. I didn't tell my friends because I wasn't raised that way. I wasn't from an environment like that. So even though I shouldn't have been, and I know that now, back then, I was extremely embarrassed to talk about it. So I allowed that to go on for about 4 years. Now, if you ask me why, I couldn't tell you why, because I was the one financially stable. I was the one with the transportation. But what really made me finally leave that was I was pregnant. I was 22. I found out that I was pregnant 6 weeks later. I didn't know right away. And he was cheating on me. So when I found out that he was cheating on me while I was pregnant, obviously I flipped out like anybody would. He decided to get physical with me again. The next day, I ended up losing my child.
Mm.
So a lot of hurt, a lot of hurt, a lot of nobody to talk to, nowhere to go, nowhere to turn. Um, so going back to high school, I was always really good with like literature, English. I was always in like AP everything. Um, so I was always a natural writer anyway, just to kind of express myself in my little journals. So then from there I said, all right, I'll turn it into song. So I just started like writing little stuff and it started to just help me like tremendously, like therapeutic wise. I was suicidal for there for a little while. Um, I was very depressed for a while and I didn't think I was gonna get out of it. So the music kind of motivated me to keep going and then I got love and support that way. So I just never dropped the ball after I picked it up. But
Wow.
yeah, so that's why I try to keep it going. I try to spread the mental health awareness message because during those times, nobody would have known. I'm great at makeup. I sell lashes. I do my dog walking. I have a dog walking business. So to the community and to the public eye, I was fine. I was great. I was accomplishing stuff. I started my business. So nobody knew. So I think when I came out and said, yo, this is what I've been really dealing with, everybody was kind of shocked. And that love just started to come because they gave me like that credit for like still pushing and like putting on this face and just still getting my shit done that I had to get done.
Yeah.
So
Now, when it comes to like writing music, do you usually use like things that happen in your personal life and incorporate that in a song? And do you feel like it speaks to people that were in your situation?
yes. I try to make my music as real as possible. I don't have any songwriters. I don't have any help with that. Obviously my engineer's great. I'm actually at the studio right now. So like anytime I need anything, it's like family here. So that's the one spot that I'm comfortable the most. But they help with a lot of like my production, the mixing. But as far as the songwriting goes, I don't believe in it. Like I don't believe in someone else writing for me because then I feel like it's not me. Like I would songwrite for somebody else because I have the ability to put stuff together well and write, like I said, because of my background. But me personally, I would only ever present stuff that I'm writing because I always want to be true to me. So
Yeah.
that's the kind of artist I am.
Well, also too, like a lot of people who write their songs, when they have other people write the songs for them, I feel like it's not really as real as, you know.
You can in the delivery, you can hear it in your delivery.
Yeah.
Because I always get all the time, like, oh, I hear your emotion. Like you're very emotional. Like when you sing or when you rap, you can kind of feel my vibe of the song I'm going with. So I always take like pride in that because I always like I try to set the vibe and the tone for everyone so they really kind of understand and get like a visual even if they want to kind of understand more so like what's going on. But since I've came into the game, I will say there's been multiple women that I didn't even know were following me or I didn't even know seen myself that were like messaging me and just telling me like, because you talked about this, like I'm ready to go. And like they're asking me advice on like how to go about things without, getting hurt or like what's the safe route to take. So I'm actually an advocate now um for mental health, for women, men, just domestic abuse in general, because it happens on both sides. I'm only speaking on my behalf doesn't mean that it doesn't happen in other situations where it's the other way around. So I
Right.
don't want to put that out there, but because I know many situations where it was on both sides. So it's an unfortunate topic that nobody talks about, but I feel like more light needs to be shed on it. Um, because it just comes down to like self-control and like what you're willing to accept from others and stuff like that around you. And once you kind of reach your tolerance in that point, you'll know what you need to do to get away because your body's going to go into that fight or flight mode. And when you want to fight or flight, you're going to flight, you're going to get out of there.
Yeah. No.
So, yeah.
Well, I do like your point that it is on both sides that men
Mhm.
can get abused, but I also feel like in certain situations like that, two people can be, abusive on like either end, and it could
Mhm.
be an all out like narcissistic, horrible relationship.
Right. And also, you have to be aware that there's going to be trauma on both sides. So when I met him, the one who was abusing me and all that stuff, he 2 weeks before I met him prior, his father had just passed away.
Mm,
So I know emotionally, like, he was going through a lot of stuff. But I allowed that as an excuse for, which is an understandable excuse, but I'm saying I was very considerate to that for about a year and a half. But when it was just I said something the wrong way, or I took a picture that he didn't like, or I went to this modeling shoot and I started going with bruises on me, that's when I said, like, stuff started to get, like, unacceptable. Stuff started to get to the point where it was like, "You're just doing this because, like, you feel angry and I'm the closest thing to you. You know I'm not gonna say anything. You know you can get away with it. So you've now found comfort in me being your punching bag in a sense." Um, so I'm grateful, not that I went through it, but I'm grateful that I have the knowledge and the education now and the information that I do to help. Like, I have a ton of siblings. I'm one of 7 kids. So I now have, I'm an example, unfortunately. But it's an example as to where I kind of set this precedent for my sisters and my brothers. And I just want them to know that, like, you don't have to accept that. There's red flags to look for early that I was ignoring. Don't ignore the red flags. Be completely, like, aware if it's happening, and it's hard to accept sometimes, which is why sometimes people stay in this stuff for years because they can't wrap their head around it. Um, but there is an end to it. There is an escape to it. You just have to, like I said, really be aware of the person you're dealing with, and it just comes down to what you're willing to accept. You can't accept it and make excuses and make excuses and then tell people about it, but then go back and then keep making excuses and then tell the same people about it. And these same people keep trying to help you. In that situation, you're only going to hurt yourself. That's why I chose not to say nothing about it until I knew I was really ready to go. Um, because if you're choosing to deal with this person, then that's something that you need to figure out and not involve other people, get them and their emotions involved, because you don't know what they're dealing with. And they're now coming out of this to help you, but you're not even really ready.
right.
It's a big thing. That's why I said I really wanted to come on here because it's such an open topic and debate. Like, there's so many different angles of the conversation you can have with it. I've had so many conversations about it. So it's really cool. It's a door I kind of open for my platform.
Right.
So, yeah.
I had somebody on my show year. I mean, I've been doing this for like almost 10 years ago, and she was in a certain situation with like you were in, but it was different for her.
Mm,
And like a few people criticized me for not wanting to share her full story because of what she went through, and I'm like, I didn't think it was. I thought it was inappropriate at the time because I didn't know how to handle it. Handle it, I guess.
yeah.
Now it's just like me growing as a podcaster and radio producer and being on doing this for like over 10 years almost. It's like it's good to talk about something like that, you know?
Yeah. And I do agree that it's definitely hard. And I think that is why I've been looking eagerly for these interviews. The last time I talked about this stuff, I was in Brooklyn and I went and I sat down up in Brooklyn with a podcaster and I discussed the same thing. I got into a lot more detail, but we discussed this prior and I wanted to make sure he was okay with that first. I know that your crowd, you're like more community, so I don't want to get too intriguing with stuff. Um, but it was very, very bad. I will say that it was very nasty. It was very torturesome. But I'll tell you what, from the artists I've met, it's like the coolest, dopest artists I've met are always the ones that like been through the most because they have the most to like write about. And the way they articulate it into like this beautiful thing is like so cool to hear. So never judge anybody for going through stuff because honestly, it can make them a lot better of a person. As much as I hate to say it, like, they come out, like, a stronger individual, like, headstrong, so
Yeah, no, I get that completely.
mhm.
Yeah, no, I talk about everything, honestly. I
Yeah.
everything and anything personal. It's just something I've always wanted to do, you know.
Yeah. Is that what got you into the podcasting stuff, I guess?
So what got me into podcasting, I blame my teacher. In high school, I went to I don't know if you know anything about Delaware County. Do you know
Yeah. Academy of
Academy Park?
Yeah, Academy Park, yep.
That's where I went to high school.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm a
okay.
Delco, but,
I'm in Delco. We're Delco currently. I just moved back.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know, I can't anyways, but I'll tell you my, it's but, um, what was I so I went to Academy Park, and I took this class called TV production, and that's what pretty much got me into the whole thing. It was the school news, and,
Oh, okay.
growing up, I've always wanted to do something with either, like, TV or radio, and both of my parents said, "Don't even go in because, like, you're not gonna make it, this, that, and the third." And then, like, out of college, I just got like, I dropped out, like, in 2017. Um,
That's crazy. I did the same thing. I went for a semester and I ended up coming back home and starting a business. Yeah.
well, I mean, I dropped out in 2017, and I was in a relationship, still in a relationship, married now. It took me, like, 6 years out of college to get into radio.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
But
then
you still got there.
yeah,
It doesn't happen overnight. I try to tell people that all the time. You can't give up and get discouraged around year 3, like, year 3 or 4, that's what Rob was my management, like, I will say he's given me so many good tools, but, like, the 3rd or 4th year is when everybody starts to get shaky and they don't know if they wanna keep doing it or keep going. That's the hardest year, you gotta push over that year.
that's where I'm at. I'm at year 4, and,
Yeah.
it's hard because, like, I work part-time at the station, like, I work full-time hours almost, but part-time
Yeah.
pay, and it's like, a lot of people say it's a waiting game, but it's like I'm literally doing radio in the morning and then another job at night depending on where I'm at, or what I'm doing, you know what I mean?
Yeah, 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 and I don't think, a lot of people really do understand, like, at the level we're at, we're not extremely like, we're not industry, we're not so this is the level where we really kinda have to do for ourselves. So the work that goes behind even this right now, this is work. Like, us collaborating, us networking, us doing this interview, this is work for us. Um, and it still matters. Those little videos and those little content things, that all that stuff, that matters. That took us time. We're editing all of that, like the songwriting, like you said, like I'm sitting there writing, I'm making sure my syllables are lined up, I'm making sure there's wordplay in there, I'm making sure you guys are visualizing stuff, and you're still understanding the concept. Like there's so much stuff that goes into this stuff. And it's way more than just what you see on Instagram. There's so much business behind everything, time and patience. Like it's an investment. And I tell people that all the time. If you are not willing to invest in yourself, don't even start doing this. Don't even come into this game at all.
And it's a waiting game too.
Yeah, and you never know. You don't
Like,
know when.
well, I interviewed this guy like a long time ago, and
Mm.
I was talking to a good friend of mine, and I wasn't sure if I was going to post the interview because like I was just so disappointed with the interview. Like it felt like I would ask him a question, he would just answer it, and I tried to have a conversation with him, and he didn't want any part of it. So
So it was one of those quick ones that wasn't really engaged.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I told my buddy about it, and my friend John's like, he was like, "Dude, just post the interview." He was like, "Because you never know, this guy could blow up one day, and you would be responsible for him blowing up, and you would get the good clout from him."
Yeah, there you go. No, he's for real. He's not lying.
No, and the best part was there was this girl in Ukraine, and she blew up from my interview, and she lived in Ukraine. I interviewed her back in 2017. I was like, "Wow, this is like, that's interesting." Like, I got
Yeah. And,
have
like, the cool thing too about me is that I'm, like, so multi-genre. So, like, when I started just rapping because I would write poems, so for me, it was, like, easier to, like, convert and still be able to stay on top of what I was writing. So I think I kinda psyched myself out and went a little bit of the easier route, just kinda read along with my stuff. But then I was like, I wanna push myself because I enjoy to sing. I like to sing on the like, along with the radio. So I said, "Why don't I try to do it for myself?" So then I started singing. So I went from, like, rap, then I did a little bit of, like, hyper pop, then I went back to just, like, the hip hop pop. I just dropped this other song, "Joke's on You," and that's more like pop rock, and then now my next project is gonna blow everybody's mind. I'm doing a country song. I'm doing a country song because I just wanna show that, like, I'm more than capable. Um, it comes down to my songwriting, and that's what I'm trying to prove is, like, how great my songwriting is. throw anything at me, I can write something to that beat and make that song sound like it's mine, um, naturally. Because 'Cause I'm not naturally a country singer, obviously, but that project, we're gonna do an entire thing, like, we're gonna do a music video for that, I definitely wanna do some interviews for that, some more visuals, so that's, like, the next biggest thing that I have, coming up that I'm very excited about, and it'll be, again, something different for me. Even though I'm now 3 years in, I constantly try to come up with the next new thing for Bay.
Right.
So,
Is it hard, converting from one genre of music to the next, or does it just come naturally?
I feel like it should be, but no. For some reason, like, my engineer gets a kick out of me because 'cause I'll be in this like, my last session, I told you the country song. So, I also just because of the Kendrick and Drake stuff right now, I just did a freestyle on the push-up beat, and it was random. So I came in, I did the push-ups beat freestyle, and then I hopped right back into my country song after I recorded that, and that was all in the same session. So really, I'm just a little like spitfire, like wild card. That's why I want to be seen and found so bad because I know, and I don't say this cocky way, I say this in a confident way. I know that I'm different and I know what I'm capable of delivering, but it's like I really need that force behind me that like believes in me just as much. Um, so Rob and I, we got the sync deal. Rob called me with this, and I didn't even know about it. He wanted to make sure everything was, legit squared away before he presented it to me. That's just one of many that we're trying to go after. I'm not obligated to just stick with them. They're just one of the companies that I'm now working with. But with them, I am allowed to go and sign with multiple if I wanted to.
Right.
Um, I'm not allowed really to talk too much about what they do for me, but the general concept of sync is obviously like movie, film, commercial, and TV placement. So like you said, it's a waiting game. With that, obviously, we're constantly submitting. It's just when I get heard by the right person and when they decide that it's something they need for what they're asking for. Um, I'm learning a lot on different ways to save files versus me just saving my wave, my MP3, and my radio edits. There's actually a ton of different ways to save music that they require. So it's all a learning process too. I'm a dog walker, like I said, so the music background, I never really had. I always just had the ear, which is so crazy. And then I'm just so good at it naturally. Yeah, I have no idea. I literally have no idea.
Do you ever go to New York just for random trips at times, or
Yeah, so this was the first year I kinda took a step back from, like, the performing every week, but
right?
I'm in over, like, 200 performances, easy. I've been down in Orlando, and I performed down there for the past 3 summers. There's a show promoter down there that I'm really cool with, and since I've worked with him, he always will throw my name around for me. So I actually get a lot more love down in Florida than I do in PA. Florida and New York love Bay. They love my music, they love my message, and it's nothing but, like, love and support every time I go up there. My manager had put me up on, the billboard in Times Square, so that was another big thing for me that he did to help, with that push, so I was on one of the biggest ones, and he surprised me with that when we were up there. So, he had my boyfriend and I go over to Times Square at, like, 9 o'clock, and he was like, "Look up," and I look up there, and he put my music video up there, and then, the photo shoot I had just gotten done, he threw my photo shoot pictures up there, and it was my OVO jacket, my Drake jacket, so I was like, "That was really cool." So, we're doing what we can, um, before we basically have to, like, drop which we know is the next step, like, drop that bag pretty much, but we're trying to pretty much do everything we can right now that we're capable of doing at this level to promote myself and kinda market and push, but
Right.
we know eventually we're probably gonna need, like, you know, those extra guns, but
Yeah. No, I gotcha.
we've
Well,
been doing pretty good.
the only reason I was saying New York because like I went
Yeah.
at some Halloween party. I won something on the radio, like a Halloween party at a radio station, and there was this dude who was like talking up so many names like Beyonce, Busta Rhymes, um, who was it? I think Dr. Dre was one of the names he was dropping. So I asked this dude, I'm like, yo, like, are you like famous? Do you have like a recording? Or he was like, no, I work for SNL, but I just know all these people. I'm like, oh shit. And my
Oh, like SNL, like the show.
yeah, he was a
Oh,
cat,
that's dope.
and I really wish I would have gotten his number because I
Yeah.
right now I probably would be working for SNL at the moment. And that's what I mean though with connections. Like I kind of just like I was running late, but I really wish I would have stopped and gotten his like info just so I can see what he could do.
Yeah.
In the business, it's not what you can do. It's just really like who you know.
And that's what Rob tells me all the time. Because I'm like, "Oh, like, I feel like I haven't performed in a while," and he said, "But Britt, you made your point with, like, at least in this area, I mean, there's nowhere else I can really perform at this point, like, local-wise, so that's why like, pushing to just I wanna expand out my horizons now, like, out of state, but New York, yeah, so last summer, like I was saying, I was up there every week. Um, Sometimes I was up there 3 nights a week, sometimes it was just 1 night a week. Whatever open mics I could find, I was going. I wasn't looking at, how big the shows are, how little, because I'm new to New York, that's how I look at it, it's not my home state, so no matter who hears me is gonna be somebody new hearing me.
Yeah,
So, I really like to attack the open mics though, because you really get, like, a real genuine crowd, like, they don't know who's coming in there to perform, so you really catch, like, a real crowd when you go to those. So, if you were to ask me, like, do I like to go on the bigger stages or the open mics? The bigger stages, I will say I'm more comfortable, but the smaller stages, I get better results.
because a lot more people can actually
It's more intimate.
or more.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
No, I get
Which
that.
is yeah, which is like different. I wasn't expecting that. So that's something I learned too so far from like doing this stuff.
Do you ever like put yourself on TikTok at all, or no?
Oh yeah, TikTok loves me. TikTok loves me.
I've probably seen your videos because you look oddly familiar. Although, did you grow up in Delco at all?
Not primarily. So my parents, I come from a split situation. My mom is Chester County, so I went to high school and I did all my schooling and stuff in Coatesville.
Okay,
My dad, he lived down here, so I was down here every other weekend still seeing him. So I kind of grew up in both.
okay,
Springfield area, particularly down
yeah,
here.
yeah. No, I was Collingdale,
I have friends and stuff down here, but yeah, my dad was always like Springfield and he's lived in Brookhaven.
Brookhaven. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. No, you look oddly familiar, but it's what people in Delco say. Everyone in Delco knows each other in some way, shape, or form. So I probably met you like years ago, or I've seen you on TikTok because you do look familiar to me.
Or maybe you saw me dog walking because I'm a dog walker.
Yeah, too.
Yeah. That's what's really cool about it too, is like I literally just walk dogs and then it's like I'll I'll walk a dog, I'll get finished and I'll like go to the studio. And I just crack myself up because it's like so unexpected. So it's like my little secret superpower, my
My
music.
uh My wife did Rover for a while, like, and in the summer it was popping. Like we had dogs every
Mhm.
week or every week, and then she just like got tired of it just because it was a lot of work. Speak.
Well, Rover, I am a part of Rover. There's another one that's instant. It's kind of like Uber, but it's for pets. It's called Wag.
Yeah, I know Wag.
And okay, you know WAG. So I was doing WAG for a very long time until I think a client honestly disclosed that I had a business and they kicked me off. I have not been able to be back on there ever since.
Wow.
So yeah, no, they told me they sent me the email and said we can't do it if you have like a third party business. So I said, okay. And then I waited like the 3 years and I tried to, but they didn't forget. So
Kind of like Dash. I tried to do DoorDash over the summer, and they said because I had a traffic, I was in an accident in 2018. They couldn't accept me, and I'm like, from 2018 though. What year are we in? 23, 20. This was in 2023.
I know. I could understand a little timer. But I thought at least after 3 years yeah, I agree. I think it's a little ridiculous, but
And it wasn't even my fault. The lady sideswiped me on, I think it was like,
they don't even wanna hear that though, they just see what it says on the paper.
Well, that's the thing with like most jobs, like now that what's his name is back in office, like I've read something they should take any violation off a job application, like a criminal off a job application, because if you can get in the office and anybody can really just do
Oh
anything.
my god, I keep seeing everybody say that, yeah.
I mean, hey, it's kind of true in a sense, but no matter what you think of them, if you like them or don't, it is what it
Yeah,
is.
but that's just like the police when, like, they pull us over for speeding, but every day when I'm leaving work, I'm driving down the highway and a trooper is going like 80 miles an hour by my car, and I'm like, "They're allowed to speed."
No, I
I
mean,
just don't get it.
no, I'll never get it. I know a lot of cops, and I mean, I guess you could say I'm pro cop, but like a lot of my friends who are cops, they hate their jobs, and a few of them have left because it's like a stressful situation.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, like if you don't want to do the job, get out. Like,
Well, especially with the stigma that's kinda built around them now,
yeah,
it's definitely, like, risky kinda going into that field now. You just kinda, like I said, gotta be prepared for, like, the bitterness of, like, society, because it's just because of, like, how they're looked at now and stuff, though.
and
They could be doing nothing, it's just you have that badge, and so, unfortunately, there's people that aren't gonna be so nice to you just because of that. You could be a great person, but it sucks. The world is definitely a lot more negative than it was, like, before the pandemic, and I do blame a lot of it, like, ever since the pandemic happened, I just noticed, like, a lot of nastiness, a lot more nastiness, than, like, before. There's always been good and evil, but I just feel like recently it's been, like, really bad with
oh, and
just, like, how mean people can be.
I go on X a lot, and I see a lot of like fucked up things. I mean, I saw this guy. He was like a teenager. He beat the shit out of his classmate, and she had like a bloody face because he got pissed off. She splashed water in his face. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, this is never like this when I grew up. I mean, probably.
And the road rage has been, like, out of hand recently,
Oh
and
yeah.
then my boyfriend was just telling me, because my boyfriend's actually from New York, and, like, so, like, he was telling me the the women, like, there was women up there that were just, like, they had their phones out, and people were just, like, walking by and, like, trying to, like, rob them and, like, get the phones out the hands and stuff because they're just being, like, real, like, weird and, like, stingy about anybody having their phone out. They're, like, getting paranoid and, like, freaking out on, like, the females, like, they're being attacked and stuff up there real bad right now. So, New York, I love it, but I would never go up there ever by myself.
No.
Now with the way the world is now, no.
Did you? There was a video I saw of a CEO of a company. He got shot down from somebody who was stalking this guy, like just for no reason.
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, that's the shit I see on X nowadays. It's just like nothing but negative, and like I hate the way that it's that the world.
I noticed it a lot because me being a content creator, a lot of the audio, like if you go down my Instagram from like when I started my music, like I said a couple years ago, don't really do that. It's gonna take you a while. But for the point, like if you go down, the audio like back then used to be like comedy. I used to post like funny stuff like all the time. It used to be like light, and that was my content. I was a little comedian like on the side. Like I love doing those. Now I go on and it's like I barely do them, but it's not because I'm slacking. It's because the audio now is just like, you don't need this. Did you know this? And it's like it puts you in this like depressive mood. I'm like, yeah, I wasn't even depressed today, but thank you, Instagram. Like, so the audio has changed, and that's what made me notice it too.
Yeah,
Um, I'm like, I don't want to make videos about all this sad stuff like all the time. I'm a mental health advocate. I already make sad music. So my followers look for that content to go against the grain sometimes a little bit, like that other side. So the world's changing. The
I
world's definitely changing.
I think it could get better, but it always will be worse before it gets better.
Yeah. And it's gonna take a village, not just one person.
Yeah,
So if we can somehow just be a little bit more courteous, open the communication a little bit better, look, this is like asking for world peace, but like try to get everybody to agree on something and like see both sides of the situation. That would be ideal. And then maybe we can like kind of work together. But I just think sometimes, and this is general, there's some individuals that really just have such a problem with, like, people having their own opinion, and it's those people that are really the problem makers here because there's people that are like, "Okay, I can agree to disagree with you. I'm still gonna feel how I feel. You still feel how you feel. We're just gonna coexist." And then there's some people that are like, "No, like, you're not allowed to feel like this." And these are the ones that are constantly keeping this battery going.
Yeah. I I blame social media, but also I use social media to
I know.
pretty much, you know?
That's why it's inevitable, and that's what my manager and I were just talking about. Because my engineer, I opened the conversation with him about, like, "Oh, what made you do music?" and blah, blah, blah. He'd graduated and stuff from, like, Full Sail. My studio actually, like, they went platinum with Chris Brown, a little production and stuff with him, just some fun facts and stuff, but he, he's always very real and very genuine, with me about kinda like how I present myself, the type of content I should do, and then, he always says, "I stuck with the engineering simply because I could never manage." And he said, "Not because I'm not capable," but he said, "The way technology and how fast technology is changing now," he said, "This isn't back in the old days when you could just go out and, like, market yourself just straight to the public, how it was a lot easier back then. You can give out your little mixtapes, your little CDs." This technology stuff and social media and these platforms, he said, is forever changing too often to where he could never keep up. And he admitted that. He said it's the kids, it's the younger generations. And my manager said the same thing. He said, we're gonna keep up with it, but he said it's definitely a lot harder than it was, years ago
Yeah.
now with all the technology. So AI, AI is taking us out. They're
Yeah,
replacing us. Like,
we AI is fuck.
I seen an app my boyfriend just showed me. You talk to it and it'll make a song with your voice.
Yeah, that's an app.
I'm like, "Wow, me." And all of us songwriters, like,
In
but
in certain radio stations, a lot of people have to sign a contract, and their contract states, "When you retire, we get to use your voice for AI." And a lot of people who listen to, and don't get me wrong, like everyone says radio is dying, but there is a vast, like big, vast majority of people who still listen to radio over Spotify. And
I'm not a Spotify user. That was the first time I've even heard about Spotify when I started to record music. I'm always Apple Music, I've never needed Spotify.
well, so like everyone thinks like music, like streaming music is a big thing. No, a lot of people listen to the radio because they like the personality of whoever is on the air. And like a lot of people in Philly, they like somebody real in the studio talking to them, not like somebody who's pre-recorded and just, you know,
Mhm.
talking for like 2 seconds. That's how
Yeah,
Philly radio works. But some stations like the AI aspect of it,
yeah.
which is scary. But
Yeah, I just don't know when it's gonna stop. Like, we have the robots, I think we should stop there. I just don't want like, all the movies I've watched growing up, like, I don't want the world to get taken over by AI or robots eventually, so we
did you
gotta chill at some point.
did you ever see the movie? What was it called? It was like Leave the World Behind or something like that. It was oh, who the fuck was in it? Kevin.
No, I've seen I, Robot, and that was enough for me. I saw
Well, in this movie that we saw, I don't know what was happening, but like our technology was taken over, and there were Teslas literally crashing into one another in the movie, like because they were being controlled by whoever was like attacking the United States.
no, but that sounds like a good one. That sounds like a really good one.
Well, the scary part about that, the Obamas made the movie, so it makes me think that Obama knew, or this Obama made the movie saying this could actually happen in real life.
Wow, and that was back then. And
Then,
Kim Kardashian just posted she got, like, the first Tesla robot.
yeah, I don't like them. I don't like anything with AI or robots. It's just, you know,
Yeah, it's so I don't like not knowing. That's what freaks me out about it.
yeah.
Because you don't know if they're gonna like wake up and be like, "Oh, just kidding. I actually know more than what you programmed me with." Like,
I I read something today that AI will actually one day AI can know how to destroy the human race, but it will act dumb in order to not reveal itself. Pretty much.
so it'll play stupid, pretty
Yeah,
much,
stupid.
but it will actually know more the entire time.
Yeah, pretty much. And I already think that's already happening.
Yeah, I just think there's a lot of stuff we won't know because the higher power, there's always tactics, schemes, plans. There's so much stuff we don't know. There's so many secrets we don't know in the government and up there and all that stuff, and they control like everything.
I read
So,
I read something today that so South Korea went under martial law, and the reason they went under martial law is to cover up because there. This is a theory that apparently um Malaysia Airlines, that flight that disappeared like years ago, apparently
yeah.
it landed in South Korea, and that's why they're under martial law. That's one of the theories.
Wow.
Yeah,
Isn't there a thing though that eventually like we're gonna go into like a cashless society and like all these other things like
something.
here,
Yeah, I read.
right?
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't mind it. I don't really use cash personally anyway anymore. But since I have this is where I was getting to with this, I also had to pick up a part-time. Um so we work overnight from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. and we were like 4 nights a week, but now we're like five. But so many customers is what I was saying. So many customers come in and they use cash. I haven't really seen people use cash until I got this job. And I'm like, oh shit, people still do use cash.
oh
It
yeah,
still exists. And some of them, that's all they'll have is cash. They won't even have a card on them. So I'm like, oh, okay. I guess it's just maybe the area we're in. It really is like it's cool to see like the different ways of living in like different areas.
yeah,
But ton of cash still going around. I got a $2 bill the other day. I haven't seen one of them in years.
yeah.
I
No,
got a 50-cent coin. Like I was like, holy crap, they're worth a lot of money right now. So yeah, I'm banking on that. Thank you. Put that in my put that in my jar.
there you go. Well, do you have anything you want to plug before we get out of here?
Um, just remember, this is for everybody watching. There's a lot of stuff going on in our world and our government, like the worldly stuff. Really just focus on like your family, your health, your friends, like stuff that you love to do, stuff that makes you happy, the positives. Depression, suicide rates, all of that stuff always goes up in the wintertime. Seasonal depression is real. So just find like those things, um, that speak to you, that keep you moving and grooving. And just don't focus or feed into that negativity because it's easier to do that. Believe me. But just, mental health, put that first. Always put that first before anything. Everything else can wait. Without your mental, you can't do anything clearly. So
All right. Well,
that's my speech.
where can people find you?
You guys can find me on Instagram. That's my biggest main platform. Under at Bae You Never Had. Um, BAEYOU never had. The same thing on TikTok, and I made it very easy. You can even find me my at name on YouTube with that. If you go onto music platforms and you want to just listen to my songs, then my artist name is Bae Music Official, capital Bae Music Official. And then like I said, my platforms are Bae You Never Had. So,
All right, sounds good.
all
Well,
right. Well, thank you for having me.
thank you for coming on, and whenever you have new stuff, we'll do this again sometime.
Okay, and I'll send you over some music too, because I don't think I did that yet. So I'll send you over some of my links to my songs.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Alrighty. Yep.
See ya. All right, that was the interview. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you smash the like on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Anchor. I'm sorry, not Anchor.fm. youtube.com/A3media. We have a lot of fun things going on there. And it was a good interview. I actually enjoyed it. So I'm going to bed. All right. Goodbye, everybody. Love you all. And I'll see you guys on the next one. And like I said, stay tuned. Santa Claus is coming on the show this week sometime. Then we have a couple more interviews after that, plus the end of the year show, which is going to be a really fun one. And yeah. All right. That's it. See you guys later. Bye.